Ronda Rousey didn't just step into WWE, she collided with it. When she walked out at the 2018 Royal Rumble, pointing at the WrestleMania sign, the entire wrestling world shifted. She wasn't just another athlete signing a contract. She was the first woman to headline a UFC pay-per-view, a mainstream crossover star who had dominated sports headlines for years. WWE didn't just acquire talent, they acquired a cultural force. But just 5 years later, she was gone. Not once, but twice. And the reasons had less to do with storylines or championships, and everything to do with control, values, and survival. Before she was Rowdy Ronda, she was a prodigy, a judo fighter who competed in the Olympics as a teenager. Her mother, Anne Maria DeMars, had already been a judo world champion. Ronda grew up in a household where toughness was a given. By the time she stepped into MMA, she was already hardened, disciplined, and dangerous. Her rise was meteoric. Armbar after armbar, fights ended in seconds. Dana White declared her a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. She became a superstar. But in fighting, no one stays invincible forever. Holly Holm's head kick shattered her aura, and Amanda Nunes closed the book. For many, that would have been the end. But Ronda pivoted. In January 2018, she shocked the world by walking into WWE. Skeptics questioned whether she could transition. Professional wrestling wasn't MMA, and fans can be unforgiving. But from the moment she wrestled her debut match at WrestleMania 34, teaming with Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, the doubts faded. She was good. Better than good. Suddenly, the crossover experiment felt like destiny. Within months, she was Raw Women's Champion. A year later, she was in the main event of WrestleMania 35, making history as one of the first women to headline the show. And then she left. No injury angle, no retirement speech. Just gone. Speculation exploded. Was it backstage politics? Was she unhappy with the WrestleMania finish? Was she simply burned out? In 2020, on Steve O's Wild Ride podcast, she gave the clearest answer yet. WWE's schedule was suffocating. 200 days a year on the road, constant travel, no time with family. If I can't spend time with my loved ones, what am I doing? She said. She admitted the work was fun, but the fans? Ungrateful. After giving her body and soul, she felt disrespected by the same audiences who cheered her 1 month and booed her the next. She also compared wrestling pain to natural childbirth, saying the physical toll was just as punishing, if not worse. For her, it simply wasn't worth it. By the end of 2019, she made it clear her focus was shifting. She wanted to start a family. WWE's brutal travel schedule made that impossible. She broke her hand, underwent surgery, and quietly stepped away. In 2021, she gave birth to her daughter, La Akea, with husband Travis Brown. For a time, it looked like the story was over. But WWE came calling again. In 2022, she returned at the Royal Rumble and won the entire match. She was slotted back into the spotlight, given another WrestleMania match, another title run, another rocket push. But this time, something felt off. Her promos didn't land. Her expressions seemed flat. The spark was gone. Behind the scenes, whispers of frustration grew louder. In 2023, it all came to a head. She faced Shayna Baszler, her real-life friend and fellow MMA fighter, at SummerSlam in an MMA rules match. It was meant to be a fight of legitimacy, a gritty showcase. Instead, it was clunky, poorly received, and at the end, Ronda walked away again. This time, the departure felt permanent. In interviews afterward, she opened up about what went wrong. WWE, she said, was chaos. Scripts changed by the hour, matches rewritten minutes before showtime. "It's like Saturday Night Live without a script," she said, describing the mayhem backstage. For someone trained in the discipline of combat sports, where every detail matters, WWE's disorganization was maddening. And then there was the culture. In her memoir, Our Fight, she unloaded on WWE leadership, especially Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and Bruce Pritchard. She accused them of sexism, of treating women as decorations rather than athletes, of creating an environment where female voices were ignored or mocked. According to Ronda, many of the women brought in weren't chosen for their skills, but for their looks. The men writing the scripts didn't understand how to create authentic female characters. Wrestlers were treated like pawns in Vince's empire, disposable and easily replaced. She reserved her respect for Paul Heyman, who she credited for giving her creative freedom and letting her write her own promos. He treated her like a partner, not a commodity. But he was the rare exception. Her criticism of others was blistering. In one podcast, she summed it up bluntly. "Vince McMahon, Laurinaitis, and Pritchard can all suck a dick." Those are not the words of someone planning a return. The deeper truth came in 2024 when she admitted she had been battling concussion issues for years. From her judo days, to her UFC wars, to her wrestling bumps, the damage piled up. She had hidden symptoms, fearing opponents might target her weakness. But by her own admission, the injuries were catching up, and it was dangerous to keep going. Protecting her health and her family's future became the only path forward. When asked if she'd ever wrestle again, she didn't completely close the door. She said maybe at smaller shows, with rehearsal, with people she trusted, but not under WWE's system. That chapter was done. Her story is one of triumph and fracture. She legitimized women in wrestling on a global stage. She brought mainstream eyes to WWE. She helped make history. But in walking away, she also revealed the cracks, the relentless schedule, the creative chaos, the toxic culture. Ronda Rousey didn't leave because she couldn't handle it. She left because she didn't need it. She had already proven everything she had to prove. And at the end of it all, family, health, and dignity meant more than booze, titles, or even history.